was just clean.
Just
it
flat
was
win.
their map. It was their draft. And they got the victory with it. And now we're going to game number 2. So let's see where it's going to take place.
Even in Death is taking us to Infernal Shrines for game number 2. So we see a bit of difference in map for the first time coming out from Even in Death. The Braxis wasn't that far out of the norm. I'm not saying that Shrines is a weird map to be going to, but it is a difference in mentality. And I do agree with you a lot when you're talking about Even in Death, in that one has got to feel the best. You know, there's two ways to look at a win. It's either your opponent lost or you end up winning. I feel comfortable to say that. I feel like if I was Even in Death, I'd say I won that game. You can always point out misplays, but it's like, was this just an irrational, like absurd level of misplay that you can't assume your opponent to make? We saw none glaring from No Tomorrow, so they have got to really be feeling confident. So much so, I wonder if that is affecting why this map is slightly different.
It could be. We have never seen Even in Death play on Infernal Shrines at all, even though this is their 6th match we are now seeing in HGC. So whether it is something new that they're bringing out, or the fact that it is, again, a good battleground for things we know that they like, that could also be it.
Yeah, the Illidan actually has a home on a map like Infernal Shrines, but in a weird way, and it's always been hit or miss. It's interesting because when Infernal Shrines actually released as a map was right at the ending of Illidan's meta, and so it's almost as if we haven't seen enough of him in the long run because of that weird timing and drop in rise of power to where he does belong. We've seen, as a response to Kerrigan, he had a small spot.
Yeah.
But that was the only time that it was like Illidan is in the meta for Infernal Shrine. So it's going to be kind of cool to see if Even in Death still feels like it's a tool that they really want. And personally, I feel like why not? You know, that last game looked really convincing.
And talking about No Tomorrow, they've played a lot of different strategies on this battleground. They started out with a Kerrigan, and why the heck not when you have an Equinox? A Kerrigan player for as long as we have known him, but also some Sonya strategies, some Thrall as well, so there's a lot of different options there. But we know that the melees will be a concern, as they always are with No Tomorrow.
Talking about Thrall, that was, like, he came out one game, and I was like, is this going to be the revolution? We saw one more indication. I know I've watched a couple of streams of our professional players where, like, they're testing out the Thrall, but he hasn't, you know, yet to come to light that often. It's just an interesting note. That's one of those ones where I was surprised when Tempo Storm busted out, and then when others picked it up, I was like, is he coming into the meta? But it seems like he laid out.
Yeah, here and there for several teams.
Yeah.
Look at that ban.
Illidan, No Tomorrow, no hesitation, does not want to deal with it. Now, if you're No Tomorrow, your next thought process goes Ariel compositions, right? So do you first pick Vala? Something of that like, or do you not go, just first pick the Ariel even, or over the Uther? I mean,
yeah.
That's what I'm now beginning to question, because No Tomorrow is obviously now target banning.
No Tomorrow, again, has to target ban, because they have not played Illidan all of HGC. Whether or not they don't want to, or they don't feel comfortable with Illidan compositions, now this is where they're at. And it's a good place for Even in Death to be in, because they were so confident and strong with Illidan in game number 1, they may be able to bank on that ban for a few games to come. Yeah.
Until, you know, No Tomorrow feels confident enough, maybe after this game if they end up winning it, but until No Tomorrow finds themselves leading confidently, I feel like I agree with you. That Illidan is going to be locked in, and that is a resource now, drafting-wise, Even in Death might be able to abuse, and dare I say it, that's a big enough tool that with one game advantage, I would argue, if they properly play out the drafts and are very on top of their game like they showed in game 1, this could be very much a series. So much so, Even in Death might have a shot at taking the first win. And think about what that would do to our standing if they took out No Tomorrow.
We'd just have to throw everything off the desk.
I mean, we might as well just everything we knew, set it to flame.
Ooh, getting Genji, Uther together too. Spicy, but No Tomorrow gets Casanova's Stitches and Vala Ariel.
Yeah, that was not a surprise whatsoever for No Tomorrow, especially with the prioritization of the Uther for Even in Death. But now it's kind of like Even in Death's been pulled away with the 2 core strategies. So now it's, can the Genji variable and the Uther pickup that we see so far, whatever they pair with it, is that enough to be able to deal with this? Because they should feel comfortable facing Ariel-style comps because they're so good with it themselves.
They've already taken away TAS, so there can't be a Vala TAS Ariel. Are there any other concerning supports? It feels like No Tomorrow, if they play double support, tends to be with Tassadar. They've only, I think, played one time where they played Ariel and an Uther together. Otherwise, it would be maybe even they're like the only team that's willing to maybe flex into a Zarya.
Yeah, the Zarya is one thing where you're like, possibly. Even in Death is deciding that they do not want to deal with the Brightwing. It is weird because this is one of those moments where international meta heavily clashes with the ideology of like that of No Tomorrow. Their hero pool being, we have never shown that kind of indication, but the Brightwing ban is like, well, there's a lot of other supports could fill that role. Even if you do take the Rhaegar here, debatably, again, things like the Zarya that No Tomorrow specifically flexes, or you can move into another just mainstream support. There are a lot of directions to go here for No Tomorrow, but again, it's one of those things that they have never shown that. So what does Even in Death do? They did end up going with the Brightwing, but well, it's questionable on whether or not that was worth that commitment in the draft.
Considering what Even in Death still need here, potentially a Greymane, if they want to make sure that they can have some Shrine clear, Shrine control. They're going to get Arthas and a Haka. It does feel like Battery is shifting more toward Arthas as we continue to see him playing HGC. And then Dahaka as well. That
makes a Greymane a really appealing pick for No Tomorrow here, just for the immediate follow-up onto Stitches. It's got Shrine Control itself. Pretty effective with that AoE poke. Even in Death's composition, though, does scare me a bit, Gilly. After that last game, with what they were able to draft, getting what they wanted, I feel like they have been pushed a little bit out of their norm. But if this was, again, any other team where I had seen this, like their draft is very much can go toe-to-toe here with what we see so far for No Tomorrow. For No Tomorrow, with the Illidan already off the table, the Arthas taken away, and the Dahaka, the idea of a side soak, the only thing that stands out is Leo in modern day, but it doesn't stand out as like the go-to or really selling up a kind of a pick here at this position.
If they pick Zarya Sonya, it's the exact same draft as they had versus Naventic on Shrines, and they did beat Naventic there.
Should be it. There's Sonya, so it's got to be Zarya now because you want the shielder to help her.
Yep.
Yep, so they're going to go with that. Zarya flexing and still the Sonya. I forgot that was on Shrines. That's a good call. So then...
I did too.
How do you...
Notes.
Notes. It's a pretty neat tool. I had a call for this last pick that I really wanted to see, and it only... I feel stronger for it now in case they move in that direction, and it lost my brain. It's just gone. It makes me a sad panda.
Is it a... It's got to be some sort of range.
It was Tychus.
Tychus? Okay.
The reason for Tychus is because some way to open up the map effectively. It works well with the Arthas. It can deal with the pressure onto the Sonya, reasonably survivable. I just feel like they need something to make sure they can... if they get a Punisher, they get something beyond just the, oh, I have, you know, this big scary guy that likes to punch a couple of things and is pretty poor in the sieging department. Tychus makes up for that, and really good pressure onto the front line. Greymane, though, since he wasn't picked up, maybe that is better overall. It just doesn't have, again, that sieging department as much, but way more into the Shrine area.
Tychus is a possibility based on what they've drafted. Genji is probably homicidal, although Lutanel's played him once.
Malthael.
They'll get Malthael as the primer for the finisher of Genji.
I always forget about Malthael, man. I'm still struggling to, in my bank of like heroes that is available, that Malthael is on that list, you know? I just think I got to the point of comfortable talking about Diva when I'm like going through like what meets this rule that they need into the draft, but Malthael always catches me off guard. It is weird though, in this draft specifically, just by having that triple melee that is not an Artanis, in fact, is the Arthas. So now they have actually 5 melee heroes on their team.
Yeah.
Sonya and Zarya, and actually every part of the composition of No Tomorrow likes AoE damage, like hitting multiple targets, and really enjoys messing up melee's time. So No Tomorrow, again, has pretty strong, but they have the Sonya with the shielder. Last game, even into the Illidan, it had almost no moment where it looked comfortable. So I'm a bit torn. I like Even in Death's drafting more than you would expect, I feel like, so far in this series.
They have been competent drafters.
Yeah, they have been.
For as soon as they entered into HGC, playing a lot of things that we saw even at the midseason brawl, and in their adaptation to keeping up with the North American meta, they have been continuing to draft and surprise us in how well they've been able to draft. So we'll see how they're able to do here, but there are a lot of things to deal with the composition that Even in Death has. We're headed into game number 2 on Infernal Shrines.
All right. Even in Death here. If you were, man, okay, first of all, we got to note the fact that Feel the Heat's been picked up rather than going with Grenade build. Last time we saw No Tomorrow flex this, they went into Grenade build. I was going to say I really like the Zarya because of Feel the Heat, because again, last time they didn't go in that direction where even then they had a lot of melees to deal with. I was afraid they would avoid it. But now that they have that,
makes so much sense here.
It's going to hurt. You know, Arthas will be able to deter the attack speed of her since the most recent changes to her attack speed. I don't remember how many patches that was, but about 4 or 5 ago. She can get slowed down with those auto attacks. So that's something Battery wants to be probably focusing on now that that talent's been picked up. But other than that, the initiation here on mid is unfolding. Drag, that's 1 dead Stitches, Gilly. Battery, though, might go down at the same time. Not going to happen. Really good kiting from him. A Howling Blast on top of it. And now Even in Death again with First Blood.
Battery's positioning was supremely good there after the drag came in. Almost went down, he was feeling the heat, and he's a Frost Lord, so he doesn't want to be feeling the heat, but he got out in time and was A-okay. Even in Death, though, getting First Blood in game number 2 after beating No Tomorrow. Is this the series?
Is this the series?
Is this where the light switch is flipped to the on position for Even in Death?
I feel like it very much might be.
Except it's not on, it's let's go!
With 0 to 100, Homicidal getting dragged in. Nice Howling Blast again from Battery. He's always got the peel there to keep the team up. No Tomorrow's dominating when it comes to the transition. No surprise, they have a pretty reasonable wave clear, and whenever you have that trifecta, the shielder being Zarya, the support of Ariel, and a Battery being Vola, they are very good at taking out those front walls. This is what this comp originally kind of came to light for. It was clear the waves, drain the ammo, take the front walls, and you're already a full level ahead pre-10.
And let's not forget that even if No Tomorrow lose a few more picks to Even in Death, especially around the earlier shrine, they have Sonya to scale up into the late game, and they have hooks to equalize the game out.
Look at this cutoff, though. They're trying to break the rotation. Uther is nowhere to be found. This is a full 4 versus 5, but Even in Death's going to take it. Now Hao has managed to join in. Arthas slowing things down. Now Frozen X misses the drag barely. Jason using that hot pursuit, or as we said, a bit of a cold retreat in that case, but he makes it out, and that is all that really is going to matter. And conveniently, No Tomorrow's had Equinox on the shrine the whole time.
No Tomorrow immediately recognized that Frozen X stalked in, and Sonya went to the shrine, and she is a very effective shrine clearing machine, already getting 15 of the necessary 40 skeletal defenders. Even in Death are going to head up, and because they are making a rotation faster, No Tomorrow do need to get Equinox off of the point briefly until the rest can join back up to make sure that Equinox can stay safe.
Yeah, good job getting the jukes there for Equinox. Even if he didn't actually fully juke the drag there, he really ensured that he could buy enough time that the rest of the members of No Tomorrow can make it up and not get caught out. That's going to be very needed here. 22 skeletal defenders still for No Tomorrow, so the ball is really in Even in Death's court if they want to do anything with this next Punisher. They all moved up, but now they're realizing that may not have been the greatest choice they could have made. The members are going to rotate out. Genji and it looks like Dahaka are going to focus more on the side soak during this Punisher.
Yeah, with how many skeletal defenders Equinox had already taken out by the time Even in Death could make that rotation, may have been better just to try to push elsewhere where they already were. And now with the great siege that No Tomorrow has with this Vola, Ariel, Zarya composition, they obliterated the front wall so fast that they're now in and on top of a lot of the members. Equinox does have hurricanes that will help with the slows and roots of Battery taking it this time, but it won't help with that drag as Sonya goes down and Even in Death finds another kill.
Jason did a very good job during that, though, to be able to abuse the mobility out of his level 1 and get enough kiting, you know, but eventually Equinox once again caught out here. Even in Death really just seemed to have his number, at least when he's on the Sonya so far between games number 1 and 2, Gilly.
That they do, and it has to be a frustrating point not only for Equinox but for No Tomorrow, as having Equinox as the shot caller. Although we talked to Casanova and they all say things, it's up to Equinox to kind of be the final say in what they end up doing, and being able to have Equinox's number, slow him down, get kills, may be affecting how quickly they're able to make decisions.
Equinox once again here up above. Genji, I don't know if he's burnt his dash yet, but if he hasn't, he's got this if he goes over. Lutano doesn't even need it, drops the deflect. Another kill, 3-0 in game number 2. The bright side, though, for No Tomorrow is the fact that they have not fallen behind structurally too heavily. Maybe a front wall here or there. I actually don't even think they've lost a front wall yet, but it's mainly the fact that they've done that and that the experience is even. if you were behind an experience to this stage, you'd be very panicked. It's just, even in death, you're making things happen, but you're losing XP elsewhere, so is it worth it? Now, the death timers are getting a little bit longer. The experience is not worth nearly as much as the kills themselves. Kills are going to be something that, even in death, if they keep this pace up, can actually gain a lead, not just feel like they have a lead.
Right, they can start to abuse that more. And importantly, they have a good momentum going into the mid-game of this game number 2, especially off of the last victory in game 1. No Tomorrow is going to hold on to their Shaman. They've already gotten some mercenary camps going in the mid. Now they're going to get this just in time for the Shrine, and it is good timing for that because the Shrine is in the bottom lane. But Even in Death are also picking up their Shaman. Just who gets into a better position and faster, and who ends up not being able to clear, and having Dahaka up in the lane to clear for a while and then stalk in may give Even in Death the edge this time.
They may be able to give them the upper hand here, but they know this is happening on bottom. The collapse is going to be very real. Lutano goes. Dahaka, does he land the drag? He's yet to be able to throw it out. There he goes. It lands onto the Stitches, not the target they're wanting. And it looks like Tiger JK, with that hope, able to keep things up. Lutano, though, eating that poison spear. Equinox throwing down a couple W's, but no kill gained on either side here. No major resource. It is a dead even game as these Shrines are going to be up. And 9 skeletal defenders for No Tomorrow.
You can see how fast those Shrine clear heroes, especially the Sonya, come in handy there. Even in Death are going to go after Equinox on the point while the rest are zoned away. Equinox, again, with that Hurricane, is able to get away from anything that Battery is able to throw, the roots or the slows. Lutano separated from the side, uses Swift Strike to get back to the team. Equinox is getting fairly low. They're still maintaining that skeletal defender lead.
Both teams are falling very low. The difference between the two is that No Tomorrow has only specific members low, while everybody on the side of Even in Death is beginning to struggle. They just can't deal with the heat, you know, so they maybe need to stay out of the kitchen.
Especially with not only the shielding, but the healing of Tiger JK. It's a hot, spicy mix of just constant sustain on top of that Shrine.
We just got temperature memes on temperature memes here today. But the Punisher has been obtained. 10s are coming online for Even in Death, but No Tomorrow quickly behind. Heroic choices. Does anything seem to be standing out? It's just going to be staples, standard across the board, except for Arthas. He's holding on to his. Syndragosa is a viable heroic on a map like Infernal Shrines because, as you can see, 2 Punishers deep, not a single fort has fallen. It is not a very good sieging tactic, so we have seen teams in the past pick that choice, but Even in Death, going more team focus, are going to take Army of the Dead. Yeah,
the way that the fights have been going so far, the issue has been Even in Death trying to keep up with the sustainability of No Tomorrow between Oriole with a perfect battery of Vala as well as Zarya shielding. So trying to make sure that Arthas can get a little bit more of his own self-sustain, allowing Divine Shield to be more focused on potentially Malthael with his Tormented Souls, or especially with Genji and his Dragon Blade.
Look at this rotation here. No Tomorrow. They have Equinox up on mid, though. The members of Even in Death are looking to be able to get that gank, forcing Wrath of the Berserker. Sonya's got the shield. They now know this is a 5-on-5 as that camp has been picked up. Even in Death wants nothing to do with it. The hook is going to go right through the uprights once more. Poison spear damage coming out from Equinox.
Dang, that thing chunks.
It is an absolute chunk, which is oftentimes why we talk about, you know, that talent can indicate going into the leap, because you leap, you stun them, and you poison them. Everybody gets chunked down to the 50% threshold. If you got that follow-up damage, could be enough to go, or excuse me, we're going to see the Bile dropped. Genji moved in.
There's the Divine Shield along the Tormented Souls, but now it is over. Homicidal has gotten the Reaper's Mark on a lot of members, specifically Talking Trees, who nearly goes down to a Dragon Blade, but has the personal barrier. Casanova will fall, though, the first kill. Equinox is very healthy, and so is Jason. They want to chase this back down, try to get a counter kill, but Battery is slowing things down up in the front. It's Homicidal or Lutano who are extremely low, who might be kill targets, but Battery protects them back to the fort.
You can see every single fight, it goes Even in Death wins the short run, but they lose the long run. Every time. We see it on the Shrines, which is why they show up and they go, oh, we can't deal with this, we need to leave. But if it's not about the Shrine itself, and that Even in Death gets a even close to clean initiation, they're the ones coming out on top. They get 1 kill, and then you see them running away because they can't deal with the sustain between that trifecta we referred to before. So Even in Death has to find a way to keep making that happen whenever they know the fight can happen in 5 seconds. It doesn't have to last that 20-second duration, and that is by avoiding these Shrines. So I think it's very smart of them to be ignoring that, giving it up and rotating the bottom half. It isn't the it isn't one of those cases where you say we're winning this trade, because they aren't. They're going to lose a 4 and a Punisher on top of it, but it is the best that you could gain. Wait for your cooldowns, then take the fight that can last only 5-10 seconds. Your win condition for those fights.
And I want to shout Homicidal out in that fight, because not only was it very evident that it was like, I have a great position to go for Tormented Souls, and they immediately added the Divine Shield to that, but because Equinox was slowed down by the fort on the retreat, you could see the Death Shroud just chasing him down. It hits him. That puts him in a great position to Wraith Strike in to get on top of the members as No Tomorrow were retreating, and that's what let them ultimately get the kill in that fight.
Now No Tomorrow has the Punisher leaping over the wall. If Even in Death can take the fight away from the Punisher after it gets a little bit low, like this, it's going to be amazing for them. But Battery already getting blown up so fast there. Equinox found himself the kill before he could even use Army of the Dead. But Lutano chasing down Tiger. He has got the first reset. Look at Malthael's dot just weakening absolutely everyone. And this is Even in Death cleaning house. No Tomorrow has just got to be cutting their losses. Who can survive? Equinox? He's not going to make it. Talking Trees. Last man standing. He's got
Lutano wants to
he
chase.
He can't do that.
Do not do that, no. Just run back. Be happy with those 4 kills.
I just see a world where he dashes in and then feel the heat. Zarya just goes, thanks, boys. With that amount of energy, 3 auto attacks later, you're dead.
I, again, love how Even in Death hit that engagement. Yes, Battery went down, but it pulled Equinox so far in, and No Tomorrow didn't realize that having a Genji and the Malthael in the back, and the exact same thing happened with Homicidal, where he found a way to Wraith strike in, was in the perfect position to drop Tormented Souls, and an immediate Divine Shield just to let him make sure that he had Reaper's Mark on everybody. Even in Death knows exactly what they need to do to make these fights work.
Yeah, and no surprise, Even in Death is good with the aspect of death. Homicidal, the name fits. Everything about it. He is at Malthael main. I'm gonna have to talk with him, because I feel like we have found his new calling there.
Even more so than the Illidan.
Yeah, my goodness. It has just been working out for them. But I want to talk about, though Even in Death, that was all very well done, and it was absolutely near almost perfect. What they did before that, with ignoring that shrine, is the only reason that fight was capable. Their decision-making and their foresight of what the next couple of minutes of the game looked like, where their biggest power spike was, and where the biggest weakness of their opponent was so well thought out. And if they continue to do that for the remainder of this game, I don't know if No Tomorrow has those tools to come back without having a huge lead.
The one great thing that we have to remember for No Tomorrow is that they have a keep that's fairly low, and they are not afraid to make core calls. So if they win even a single fight at this point, you know they're going to head straight to that top lane, take down the keep, and then immediately, if they can get on the core, they will get there. No hesitation, no questions asked.
And here we see No Tomorrow waiting around. They don't have the 16, and they know they have pressure through mid and bottom. So what is the most likely place that somebody's going to go and clear a lane on their own? And it's mid and bottom. Look at what they found. Frozen X, can he make it out? Poison Spear, passive, the hook. There's the burrow, Tunning Claws coming in. Howling Blast thrown down, but the Expulsion Zone kept him on the wrong side of the wall. Lutano leaping over with the Cyber Agility. They're just gonna flat take this fight because they know there is no 16, Gilly, and they are cleaning up once more.
Oh man, they are cleaning up shop. Definitely. Vala down, Zarya down, Tiger JK, not long for this world. He goes out too. Only Equinox and Casanova make it back to their fort, and this time, those are long respawn timers, and there's a shrine available for the taking for Even in Death.
Again, Gilly, I just said, it's all about how the fight plays out. No Tomorrow does not have the composition to be able to deal with the R buttons of Even in Death. Again, think about when we talk about heroes that want to be, when they use their heroic, they need the fight right there. Arthas, Malthael, Uther, Genji, all 4 of them, they work together beautifully when they get the fight and those cooldowns are up. They are not so beautiful when they do not have those resources together. So No Tomorrow's got to find a way to better play around that, get a kiting tactic or something of the like. Whether it be, Talking Trees using the Expulsion Zone when they see Arthas pop Army, but there's no way they can go toe-to-toe with the comp Even in Death is drafted if all heroics are just used at once. I mean, you can, but it is asking for a colossal misplay or just some freak out play on the side of No Tomorrow.
Even in Death are holding this shrine until they can get a more advantageous position, clearing out the mercenary camp that was up against them in the top lane and getting ready for the shrine. No Tomorrow knows this. They obviously see that that last one isn't taken, so where can they go? What can they find? Who can they take out to make this push not as good? We're gonna have Tormented Souls back up in a few seconds, and I am so scared for No Tomorrow right now.
Oh, they're gonna take this. Look at Lutano's already starting. He's prepping the works there. Howling Blast, max range for battery. Bob's been used, but Lutano, he get caught out. He's dead. No Tomorrow got everything they could ask for at this moment in time by being able to remove the Genji. Now we see Even in Death, they go out, they get the Punisher, but with a member down, No Tomorrow does not care. They're gonna get this keep.
They're taking out the keep. They've got the Shaman camp here too, and Even in Death aren't going to be able to push with that Punisher.
Are they going for this?
Yeah, they're gonna go.
This is very risky. With Arthas and Malthael, this is by no means over yet, but 25 seconds before Genji's back, Malthael goes in, Divine Shield, Tormented Souls, he is doing the damage, throwing out the dots. Aegis gonna be popped. There's the Expulsion Zone. Equinox, he's buying himself a bit of room. He's gonna spin away, but look at No Tomorrow. They're on full retreat, and this is 5 versus 4. Casanova even dies. There's not enough hope for Tiger to heal.
Even in Death, Homicidal's gotten on top of trees,
This kid
and you cannot get away from him once he is going. This Malthael play is insanity from Homicidal. Frozen X is stocked in now too. They are not letting No Tomorrow get away with trying to take down that keep and take down their core. 2 more kills are down. Only Ariel and Sonya remain.
And we have yet to pay attention to the Punisher here at 8%. He's made his way all the way up to this mid keep. Even in Death are going to have the follow-up here as they are all stomping their way through. This is very much going to be their keep. The question is, Gilly, if Equinox dies, that's game. Oh my gosh, he goes down. It was possibly game no matter what, but that is almost 100% now, as there is only going to be a Stitches up in 5 seconds. Equinox is, oh my gosh, by going down, even if that's going to be able to do this, this is game 2.
The team that has only won 2 games in all of HGC so far throughout this part, who was our brand new team, is now about to take down No Tomorrow in 2 games in a row. It's not the series, but it is putting No Tomorrow so far behind. They're going to need everything at their disposal if they're going to recover. Where is this play coming from?
I just want to feel like I know what's happening. You know what I mean? Because, like, where does it come from is the best way to put it. It is like night and day sometimes between these teams when it comes to the coordination and decision making. And again, Even in Death has shown glimpses and moments. Like, for instance, they're forfeiting of that, moving to the bottom and then taking the fight on top. Normally, we would see them forfeit, give it up, and maybe not get the follow through. When I say moments, and I always say, but it's only a moment. That time, we're seeing longer extents of that, and suddenly No Tomorrow can't really deal with it. Even so much so that they panic decision, you know, up into the core. I can understand why they wanted to dabble and maybe test the waters a bit, but obviously even risking a kill is far too many resources committed to that type of play.
Yeah, Homicidal before, the answer for No Tomorrow was to ban Illidan, and that seemed to be like, okay, we just take Illidan off the table, and that's worked for teams in the past to make sure, even if they lose a game to Even in Death, they're still able to win the series. But the buck stops here, because now his Malthael play is incredible too, and that changes things.
I was just talking about how I felt like Illidan was enough of a resource in a draft that if you felt like No Tomorrow could not play and that they had to commit to it, it would be enough to where they might be able to take the series, right? But I didn't think that that second game would be the moment. It would be like No Tomorrow takes it, and then you see in the third game it'd be a problem that Even in Death gets an advantage in the draft. Now, you talked about Homicidal just flexing one more hero that they have to focus on. Now they have 2 tools, they have 2 games up, and they have momentum. I almost want to say I'm favoring Even in Death to be able to just 100% win this. I know they're 2 games up, and you're like, oh, congratulations, Jed, dude, you can win 1 more game after those games. But now they actually, draft-wise, I give them an upper hand. Beyond their competence, they actually have 2 heroes that No Tomorrow has got to be afraid of. How did we end up here, Gilly? Seriously, think about what this does to the standings.
I know. No, I can't even.
I just don't even, my brain just blows up.
We gotta take a break. When we come back, we'll have game number 3 and see if Even in Death takes out No Tomorrow.
25 seconds before Genji's back. Malthael go. Happy.
Oh.
We're on the mic still. Seconds before Genji's back, Malthael goes in, Divine Shield, Tormented Souls, he is doing the damage, throwing out the dots. Aegis gonna be popped. There's the Expulsion Zone. Equinox, he's buying himself a bit of room. He's gonna spin away, but look at No Tomorrow. They're on full retreat, and this is 5 versus 4. Casanova even dies. There's not enough hope for Tiger to heal.
Even in Death, Homicidal's gotten on top of trees,
this kid
and you cannot get away from him once he is going. This Malthael play is insanity from Homicidal. Frozen X is stocked in now too. They are not letting No Tomorrow get away with trying to take down that keep and take down their core. 2 more kills are down. Only Ariel and Sonya remain.
And we have yet to pay attention to the Punisher here at 8%.